Good evening and welcome back to Formula Racing League TV. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back for the Taco Tuesday Championship Season 21 Tier 1 on Assetto Corsa Competizione console version. I'm Andrea Mattavelli, as known as F1 GT Fisichella, and I will be here to commentate with you round 4 of the championship at Snetterton circuit in Great Britain. We're here after fabulous 3 races, which we had a lot of fun. There was a lot of exciting battles, and there was one man above the rest. Irish, the German tanker, because the German Panzer, because it really put himself in a name in the Tier 1, because 3 races, 3 victories for the German driver, who he seems unstoppable on this number 404 Bentley Continental GT3. Let's see if someone can stop the German leader of the championship on the scene of the British landscape and British weather of Snetterton circuit. For now, we can see that the free practice has come to an end. Sergio Hernandez in the McLaren has come fastest with 1 minute 46.002, followed by Geoffrey Godfroy, Postel, William Hagemans, Adam Sharpie, Wozer, Van der Waal, Gierman, Morgan Grace, Sven Muller in the top 10 ahead of Samuel Gerbino and Ferreira, the Portuguese in the Mercedes, the Brown, Pospisil, Prentice and both the Prentice brothers on the podium. Last time we visited out in Chialami, both back in the Bentley Continental. We know that they are both big supporters of Ipswich Town, their whole local hometown football club. I thought they were gonna be maybe they were gonna be absent, but no. They are here today because Ipswich is not playing today. Because I've been told by them in the post-race at Chialami that they will not be present because their team will play. Of course, it's a season important for the Prentice brother and for the hometown club, who sits 4th in the British Championship. But let's get down to business to the racing track as the qualifying session is underway. As you can see, the weather now is settling for a cloudy scene. No rain predicted for now. Let's see if the race will be the same or if some rain will come along the way here at Snetterton. Of course, a track unusual in the scene of British motor racing. The track located in Norfolk has various layouts. We're racing on the Snetterton 300 layout, which is long 2.9 miles or 4.7 kilometers, and has come to 12 turns. Of course, Snetterton is host for various races at the national level, including British Formula 3, British Formula 4, of course the British Touring Car Championship that until the late 90s was racing in the Snetterton 200 layout. Of course, we remind you of all the races that we have done throughout the TOCA series, TOCA 1 and TOCA 2. If you can remember, during the Super Touring era, where we were racing with Renault Laguna, on the Volvo X40, Audi Quattro, or the Nissan Primera, the Honda Accord, the Ford Mondeo, which in 1998 was driven by Nigel Mansell, not at Snetterton, but at Donington Park in the national layout. When there was rain, they produced a classic instant race. And of course, we hope that tonight the drivers that are racing in Tier 1, which are 31 as we count in for now, will produce a fantastic evening of racing here at Norfolk. Irish will be the first to set down a lap here in this Snetterton 300 track. Of course, Irish aims to continue his perfect score of victories. 3 victories out of 3, all following the same patterns, because he's never done a pole position. He he stayed focused, steady and clean in the race, and somehow they mistake their opponent. His opponents make some mistakes. He take advantage in the pit stop window, and he claims back the top spot. Let's see if Snetterton will be fourth in a row for the German driver, or if someone can finally stop the dominance of the German Panzer, which is him in the Bentley Continental. Of course, we have also to look out for Sergio Hernandez in the McLaren 998, Hernandez with 2 poles to his name, but unfortunately for him, reminder that it's been lucky, he's made some mistakes, and he only came out with 1 podium in the opening race, 2nd place, then on DNF, 7th place last time out, which remember was at Zolder, and where we have the double podium for the Prentice brothers. And now let's settle down with times. Volkmann in the Ferrari, 1 minute 55.2 for the Ferrari driver. Settles down for first. Let's see Haigash what he's up to, 147.1. And that's a great time. Sergio Hernandez goes even faster, 146.9 for the Spanish driver, who is looking good in the fight for pole position. Luke Prentice third in the other Bentley Continental. The Bentley boys looking strong as always, even as Snetterton, which is technically the home race because we don't have any British tracks on the calendar for season 21 of the Taco Tuesday series. Then Gearman in 4th place, Serfontaine in 5th, Van der Sloot in 6th, and now look at this, Jack Prentice 5th, behind Gearman, 7/10 behind Sergio Hernandez. And now let's watch Haver with Morgan Grace 5th place, ahead of Jack Prentice. Then Morgan Ack, the Ukrainian driver, Modest Ack, sorry, 4th place, 4th time. We're now up with Sven Müller, the German in the Ferrari, the green and orange Ferrari 296 GT3. As the lap time continues to unfold, Geoffrey Godfrey slots in 2nd, ahead of Irish for less than for just a minute. 10,000th of a second. Müller launches up. Now we have to see now that give it a moment for Colpitts, the British driver in the peak BMW M4, who's confident to take a good result here at his home race, which we remind by the standings. Colpitts for now is slotting. Looking at the silver tier, is 8th place with a class podium. Last time in Zolder, Colpitts crosses the line, but he's launching now, so it's all to play for the BMW. Serfontaine improves, goes up into 5th place. Irish goes up into 4th. Hagemas and Gearman goes even better. 2nd and 3rd for the 2 Ferrari drivers, while Sergio Hernandez 146.1. The Spanish driver looks determined to try to take a revenge, on his opponents and on himself, and try to take a third pole position that for now seemingly steady on his head, looking at this gap of over half a second on the Hageman, which is 2nd for now. 8 minutes and 22 seconds left of qualifying. Looks like that is going wide. Pushy on the limit on the layout of Snetterton circuit, the 300 layout. Of course, Snetterton has most of the British racing tracks was born from a next air base, the next airfield used in World War II. So he followed the steps of Silverstone, to name a few, and of course that reflected in the layout, especially in a layout of the original Snetterton circuit, which went through the which raced near the A-level road that linked Norwich to Thetford, and of course it began racing thanks to the Aston Martin Owners Club, Oliver Sears W color with the first races just since the opening in 1951, and of course then first it was used mainly for motorcycle racing. Then it was open to other type of racing and occasions, even by Formula 1 cars, because it was used by Team Lotus for testing the F1 cars, and also for Norfolk Racing Co. that raced to Le Mans in the period. And so then the Snetterton began to acquire reliance and prestige in the British motor racing, to then arrive to be one of the main stops by the British calendar, even it was British GT Championship, British Touring Car Championship. Of course, it's all about racing. It's all about old style layout, because of course, as many other British tracks, there are no such big asphalt runaways. There's only the track, white lines, and after that, the curbs or the grass. And if you make a mistake, you go straight into the barriers. So you don't want to do that. Then let's see again. Oh, as we see an Aston Martin spin after getting a little too over the edge after the richest corner, turn number 1. We see the Aston Martin, which is on back coastal in P19, while Ferreira gets up into 8th place in the Mercedes. Good stuff for him for now, while Irish needs to improve on his time. He's trying to improve now, exiting the final corner, the Murray's corner. Irish was now in P10. Let's see if he can move up a few spots. Not for now, stays P10. Of course, you have to wait for a few laps because it's not easy to make a real clean lap. Considering the Snetterton 300, it's including a middle sector, real tricky, especially if you have a car heavy and with a front engine that doesn't help you really on the entry of the corners. And in fact, we see that the Bentley, the Mercedes, the BMW are all behind for now. Even the Aston Martin, Mike Costa, struggling for now as he going to the corner. A long right-hander before the Murray's final turn. Mike Costa is for now P21, looking to improve with his Aston Martin Vantage, but cannot do so much. Stays for now P21. 4 minutes left to the end of qualifying action. And Haji Vance and Godfrey came real close to Sergio Daniel's pole time. 1/10 of a second, less than 2 tenths from Haji Vance and Godfrey to Hernandez, with Hernandez really trying to improve. For now, he stays at the top, the Spanish driver. But of course, in these races, in this sort of the races of Taco Tuesday Tier 1, it's not important the speed, the raw speed, the qualifying lap times. It's important the racecraft, the cleanness of your drive. And that's why Hernandez for now, after 2 poles, he's only got 1 podium to his name. He aimed to change that tonight here at Snetterton. While let's have a moment for Jack King, the Irish driver, who's now slotting P7. Of course, this type of track different from the other ones we have in the calendar of the Taco Tuesday series. Can do some favorism to some type of drivers and some type of cars. We can see McLaren, the Ferrari up front in the top 5, and the Bentley brothers, the Bentley trio, go a little further back in the order, just a little bit. But of course, the lap time suggests that there will be a lot of work to do, especially for Irish, as we reminder, winner of the previous 3 races here in this season 21 of Taco Tuesday Tier 1. But now it's only 10th place. Of course, he really get on with his comebacks after poor qualifying. But Snetterton is not easy to pass. There's only, I suggest, 2, maybe 3 real opportunities, which 2 are in turn 2 and Montreal, and the final corner at Moraes. But on the other side, there are really no other choices. Irish moves up 2 places, slots into 8th place for Irish. While Godfrey goes even close to Hernandez, but look at Hernandez, 145.8. Hernandez is flying on track, not been easy for him, but the time that he had the clean track, he absolutely destroyed the uptime, and he's now stopping, coming into the pit lane, says, I have no more on my tank. I need to go and prepare myself to the race. Thank you very much. Let's see if it will be a McLaren 1-2 in qualifying, or if someone like Heijmans, Grace, Gilman, or even Wazarelli can do something to stop him. Let's go into the Porsche of Modestak, the Ukrainian driver, protagonist of some good performance. He's a silver driver, but he really got on with some great results, considering he's a repeat silver driver. He managed to finish 4th at Zolder, getting real close to the overall podium. For now, it's P11, the Ukrainian driver. We see if he manages to improve on his the last lap time, as we now approaches the moment of the checker flag. 4, 3, 2, 1. Qualifying over here at Snetterton. These are the last lap of the session. Let's see if someone can improve. Let's see Wazer at the Moraes corner in the Bentley number 32. While Heijmans can improve, stays P3. Wazer comes into the pits. He has nothing more. Now let's see Modest Ake, but he slows down. He made a mistake, or maybe he has not got anything on his tank, so stays just P13. Postal slots up to P6, while we see from the other drivers, Morgan Grace stopped, so qualifying over even for him. Ralph Gierman is also stopped. Geoffrey Godfrey is still going, so maybe he can do something to strengthen his front row start. Jack Prentice qualifying over for him as well, while we see some drivers. Mike Coastal on the Moraes corner in the Aston Martin, trying desperately to improve from his P17, but he comes into the pits, so qualifying over even for him. There should be no really any more surprise apart from Snetterton, maybe Godfrey, who has a good slipstream. He has to be careful to going up the curbs in the exit of turn number 10. Should be turn number 10, the bob hole. Let's see if Godfrey can maybe challenge Hernandez for pole, or will be to no avail. Snetterton doesn't improve. Godfrey does improve, but he stays behind the Spanish driver. So Sergio Hernandez comes back to pole position for the Snetterton round of the Taco Tuesday series. As you can see, we have Sergio Hernandez on pole, 145.8. Godfrey manages to get to the front row with second fastest lap time. Heijmans and Ferreira on the second row. Morgan Grace and Postel on the row number 3. Then we have Gilman, Wazer on the 4th row, Wazer, and then Irish, the leader of the championship, the absolute dominator of the Taco Tuesday season 21 so far. That for Snetterton. He will start from P9, front row number 5, alongside Jack King. Talking about the Prentice brother, however, they have to work as well because Jack is 11th and Duke Prentice is 18th. Middle when we have Van der Waal, Ack, Pospisil, Sefte, Mueller, and Austin. Of course, there are some. Hernandez set a real benchmark with a great lap time to take pole position, but of course he will have to avoid a mistake if he wants to take that agony, that win that is waiting for him since the first round of Chiellami. And of course we might have a few surprises under the stick in the middle, in the central part of the group. So just a few seconds of pause, and we'll be back for the start of the race here at Snetterton. Welcome back here, Formula Racing League TV. Welcome back to round 4 of the Taco Tuesday Season 21. Talking about Tier 1, we'll be underway shortly for the formation lap for round number 4 at Snetterton. Of course, as you can see, Sergio Hernandez took pole by doing an astonishing job, mostly on the middle part of the track, where he was the only one to go under the 38 seconds. Of course, Hernandez will aim to try get P1, try to get his first victory under the belt, as Agash will otherwise try to make another comeback from 9th place on the grid. And let's see if from the middle part of the group there will be some surprises, considering we have the Prentice brothers a little bit behind. We have Post, Grace and Ferreira all potentially contending the podium places alongside Hagemans, then Godfrey, of course, which is P3 in the championship with 32 points. same amount of points as Jay Wazer and Andrew Tulloch and Adam Sharpie. So it will be really, really interesting to see. Irish is still the benchmark with 41 points, which include, of course, a dropped result as per rules. But we'll see if this will make things interesting in the championship of the Irish. Will still be the benchmark for tonight's race. Then, of course, we have to watch also Pospisil in the Rutronic Porsche. Of course, the Czech driver has been giving up he's been giving us some good comebacks in the first 3 races for the season after not so great qualifying runs. Let's see if tonight will be the same, even though we remember Snetterton is not a track suitable for overtaking, because I can see only maybe 2 open opportunities at turn 2 Montreal, and then maybe, just maybe, one race, that's called it, and then one corner number for the Agostini, or even the Brandon, but the Brandon, it will be a fast corner followed by a slow one, the Nelson. So if you try and overtake there, you have to settle down to going wide. And Nelson, while someone really hit a bollard at the Hamilton corner, really not good publicity for the stewards alongside the track located in Norfolk. Not really. Of course, I remind you, if you're liking our streaming, if you're liking our work to provide you content and coverage of the Taco Tuesday, just leave us a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course subscribe, follow us on Patreon to support us to give you more awesome action in tonight's event and also on other occasions. I remind you that on Formula Racing League is also doing a live stream on the second round of the Touring Car Classic World Tour in the United States of America, this time at Mid-Ohio, or as they call it, the very Mid-Ohio, pun intended. But let's settle down here, let's focus on Snetterton, because of course Great Britain is where the culture, that's where the heritage of motorsport it is, and it is where real men are about to go for a full hour of racing, 1 pit stop predicted, and of course let's see if there will be a big battle for the race win here in the British landscape. Sergio Hernandez on pole position, reminder, followed by Jeffrey Godfroy on the front row, the Hegemas, Ferreira, Grace Foster, Gilman was Irish King in the top 10. They're all on the main straight, waiting for the green flag, but the virtual steward wait is really on, and they're on the way here as Snetterton. Let's see Sergio Hernandez with a good start, but Jeffrey Godfrey looking to challenge the Spanish driver at turn number 1, going outside, but Sergio Hernandez makes sure to take care of the track position to stay ahead of the Belgian, the Via Hegemans, while Morgan Grace tries from the outside of corner number 2, the Montreal, on Ferreira, and great overtake by Morgan Grace with a slight touch for the part for the Ferrari driver. Ferreira tries to switch back, but there's really no room, especially in the turn part on the 300. Look up for Water, try on the side of Postel and manages to get past. And look at the start also of Irish, who manages, if I can, almost manages to get past Postel for a P8, while Wazer still hasn't done. He by Wazer, looking like to be in business for the podium places But up front, Sergio Hernandez leads, Godfrey is in second, Hegemans is in third, Grace in fourth, Wazer in an astonishing fifth after a great start, Ferreira sixth, Irish in seventh, Postol Jack Prentice in nine, ahead of a modest Ark that is also started really well on his Porsche, while some folks like Gearman has lost a couple of places. There will have been some contact. We see Alessandro Liti, Chris Gedman, Van der Slot behind, and Samuele Gerbino with eventually some contact or some spin by part of the Lamborghini driver, while Sergio Hernandez is setting up the pace, follow the others. Let's look at this, another battle. Postol and Ferreira. Ferreira tries to defend on the outside, but Postol says, thank you very much. I'm going to take seventh place. Look at Jack Prentice trying to take opportunity of the Portuguese weak defense. He tries on the outside, and that's a great overtake, a great maneuver at the outside of Palmer corner by Jack Prentice, who manages to get past Ferreira, and now Montesark says, I'm going to join the party, and Ferreira says, I don't think so, but the Ukrainian has the advantage of the exit, and so Montesark takes another spot up. That's been a disastrous second lap by the Portuguese driver. A very slow start for the Mercedes driver. Maybe some pressures were not correct, or maybe it was some heavy fuel. But for now, it has really not got the way of Ferreira for now. Meanwhile, the top six are really trying to run away from the rest of with Hernandez still up front with Geoffrey Godfrey trying to stay on the same level of pace at the Spanish driver. For now it's a 1-2 McLaren. Look at Godfrey trying to take track limits to a whole new meaning. Hegemans Grace following not too far behind. That's been a yellow flag. It's not a Sharpie who has lost it. He has lost it, unfortunately, at the bomb hole. And now he has to restart all over from the last place. Volkmann already into the pit, so he decided to use now the mandatory pit stop. Will be really interesting to see what this will be. Again, some battles more on Montreal with Gearman and Van der Waal. Van der Waal takes up 11th place ahead of the Ferrari driver, while Pospisil trying also to make up some places in the Serpentine, while behind them Luke Prentice, Golden Brown fighting for a 16th position and 7th position, and Prentice has got the right on Golden Brown and takes P16. So the Bentley brothers are on the move to try to take up of the grade, while a good start also for Kopitz sees him slot up in 18th place, and Mike Costa tried to follow in to try to get up some places as well. Some action, really good action, while Morgan Grace has made a mistake and has lost 2 places on Montesark and Fernando Ferreira, and almost went really too deep, too aggressive on the Nelson sausage curb. Luckily for him, he stayed on the track, but it's not been the easiest one. Let's see now. Jack Prentice aiming to Postol 6th position in the British GT Bentley Continental. While behind him, Ferreira tries to look up to the side of the window of Ake, but the Ukrainian is not having any of it. Up front, and as Godfrey looks like Geoffrey It's going real fast, so he might have a chance to fight with Sergio Hernandez for the victory. Hagemas is a little bit back, but of course don't underestimate the Ferrari capabilities, especially when it comes to the tire wear and the race pace. So Hagemas looks set to try to fight for the victory as well, while Wasser really fallen short after quite a few laps. Irish has gone under the second of gap. I don't know about you, I've seen maybe some little bit of lags. Don't know if it was me or also the drivers, while Van der Waal has lost a couple of places, has been overtaken by Luke Prentice and followed it down from P15, Pospisil and Brown fighting with Pospisil trying to defend from the inside, but Gordon Brown saying I'm going to use the exit of the corner to my advantage and manages to overtake Pospisil, who's now in real pressure from Colpitts. It's also free wide and Austin goes wide onto the grass. There was no space there for free cars all line up, and Austin pays the price. Austin pays the price as he rejoined the track from real far back. He's ahead of Germano, so it's in P25. Real tough luck for Mike Austin, but as you could probably tell, there was never room for free tracks, for free cars. Sorry, on the Coram corner, while Irish has managed to get rid of Wasser and get up into 4th place. So look out for the German Panzer Irish, champion of season 16 by a long margin, who will try to get back onto the podium at least, even as Snetterton. But we'll see if Hernandez, Godfrey, Hagemas will have something to say to him like, not this time, my old friend. While Godfrey is still following Sergio Hernandez, trying to follow him very closely to try to take any opportunity. How about we do some favor and with some of these vitals, but where is Ferreira? Ferreira has gone into the barriers, has gone to some contact and has lost a couple of places behind Grace, Graham and Jackie King, Fontaine and Prentice is ahead only of he really fallen back on the stack. That's a real shame for the Ukrainian driver, who's you have to say goodbye for now to the fight in the top 10. But now aim to do our first onboard moment. We have to do, I have to watch in a few moments. Let's have a moment for Luke Colpitts in the pink BMW, who's now slotting. This must be P15, and he's trying to follow Gordon Brown for P14. On board with him. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I see a McLaren going real wide. This time it's not Sergio Hernandez, but it is Jack King, the Irish driver, who's made a mistake at the middle part of the track. Most notably the Hamilton corner. He made some mistake on the exit and lost a couple of places. Now he's behind the post position, P16 for the Irish driver. While as we've seen from Colpitts' point of view, it's not hard to follow the line, but it is hard in that part of the track to try to get the car to push in the entry part of the corner and try to gain some tenths of a second. That might be real useful to him and to obviously the others using front engine cars like the Bentley or the Mercedes or even the Ford Mustang, even though we don't have a Ford Mustangs any in this series, in this evening at least. And now look at another juicy fight potentially between Jack Prentice and Morgan Grace for 7th. The blend Bentley, of course, has an advantage of top speed and of stability, but you have to look for the tires, and of course Morgan Grace has the better package in the corners, in the entries. So we see how Morgan will manage to put pressure on the Prentice and try to get the better of it to overtake the British driver from Ipswich and take 7th. While up ahead, Sergio Hernandez is trying to leave Godfrey behind, 1 second between the Spanish leader of the race and the Belgian in 2nd place. Both are McLarens. While our rise hopefully on this 3-car group for 7th, Prentice, Grace and Gearman. Grace trying to make use of Ferrari advantages in the corners, while Jack Prentice looks pretty chill, at least for now, because of a high speed of the Continentals. While Morgan Grace, I hate the fact that Morgan Grace has decided I'm not going to overtake you here normally, so I'm going for the pit stop, and I'm going to stay on track with free view ahead, try to gain the stamps here. Also Lino and Ferreira come for the pit stop, for the mandatory pit stop. Reminder, 1 mandatory pit stop. We fixed the refuel time, so there's not really any gain. Maybe if you don't change tire, only 5 seconds, but is that really worth it? That's the main question. While Hegemans is seen getting the back and full back compared to the 2 McLaren drivers of Hernandez and Godfrey. Of course, a really good first stint by Geoffrey Godfrey. Reminder that has won the last visit at Bathurst round 2, but in this year he only claimed P7. No, he managed to stay 2nd, but 2 weeks ago he couldn't go any higher than 7th. And of course, for the championship, it's all still game on, because if Irish manages to stay out of the podium places, he might make the championship more thrilling to watch, because it will be an opportunity for all the cars that we managed to gain point, especially Sergio Hernandez, considering he had 2 pole positions and 1 second place to his name. Well, Irish for now is not gaining any second on the top 3, but that doesn't seem to making concern about. Look at this 4-way group. Luke Prentice, Sefontaine, Van der Waal, Gordon Brown, all near for 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th place. Colpitz behind only of 1.4 seconds. And of course, you have to be patient and you have to rely on the good mental game to try to take some position. And of course, you have also to rely on not putting the tires onto the grass. And look at Luke Prentice with almost a power slide on the exit of the Williams corner. Now to the opposite straight. But Prentice is really pushing hard. Maybe a little bit too hard. Look at how his real time tends to slip up. That's the side of Luke really pushing real hard to try to defend its position. While Snetterton and Van der Waal, the others for now seems more calm, more clean on their drive. And we have to see also Colpitz for Pospisil if they can take advantage. Colpitz and come a little bit closer, 1.3, the gap between him and Brown. They're talking about Brown. It's really coming closer and closer to Van der Waal, trying to take any possible door to take an advantage, to take a place. And it's almost the same situation ahead with Walzer and Boston, P5 and P6. Boston less than a second behind the Bentley driver, but the Bentley driver has the advantage of top speed and stability to transfer the power to the real tires, even with some power slides. And of course, if you think this is a long possession, we only had 1/4 of a race, maybe almost 1/3 of a race. So there's still a long way to go. And of course, we have to wait for the mandatory pit stop for the top divers, who I'm confident will be waiting till the last moment possible to try to not re-enter near the traffic. And now there's been some mistake by Walter in the Murray corner. Let's see if Postel can make that an advantage in his battle. Try to make his Sam real clear in the continental mirrors. But Walter doesn't shake, doesn't slip up. He stays fifth, he stays ahead of Postel. While behind, I don't think there's any opportunities where he got the Brown. With some mind games on Van der Waal, but the Dutch driver says no, thank you very much. Stays ahead of the British FRL driver. Oh, but he may make a little mistake. 2 wheels on the grass, on the entry. Gordon Brown says, this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity to seize and to take 11. And he does so with a clean move. 11 place for Gordon Brown, who, as I said, with the bad games, he tried to make the other go to a mistake and lose time. And in fact, he did, taking 11 in the process. Don't want to be the one of the football fans, but this is a track where you can all say trust the process, trust the process. For Brown, he worked brilliantly. And of course, the German fans, the German Schweizer Racing League fans, we hope the Irish, they will trust this process to make it claim another podium. For now, it's 2 seconds and 1 behind Hegeman's more and more struggling in this phase of the race. Of course, Hegeman is not really helping himself after pushing maybe a little bit too hard in the first 20 minutes of the race. But Luke Prentice decides this is the time for a mandatory pit stop and comes into the pit lane. Let's take a look behind. We have King, Sharpie, Ostel behind P17, P18 and P19. Of course, race compromised by some mistakes and some episodes for them. But we have to see where will Prentice Goldman after re-enter the track compared to Grace and the others. Grace is coming into into another lap, while Prentice he has to switch off now. It's behind Grace, maybe even behind Volkmann. Let's see. Oh, it really re-enters just straight ahead, almost blocking him in the process. But Prentice manages to stay ahead of Volkmann for P23. And now for him it's game on compared to the other drivers. Grace managed to overtake Prentice with the undercut, but now he has to settle down with a tire slightly more wear compared to the one put by Luke Prentice just now. While ahead, Sergio Hernandez putting the gap between him and Godfrey to 1.6 seconds. And of course, our hope, this is my hope, I don't know yours, is that he manages this time to take the win. But of course, we have to look for eventual mistakes from his part, as it was happened in the first two races of the season. Godfrey still doing a marvelous job to keep him up with a gap of less than 2 seconds. But the Wallhead has go into the pits now as we speak. Where we see, oh, there's a Ferrari was banned, and one of Serfontaine, and there has been a Porsche as well from Modest Arc. What has happened there between Serfontaine and Arc? I don't know if there's been some contact between the car and the lapped car, but that cost Serfontaine dearly, as we now will see him lose a place to Gordon Brown, lose place to Colpitz, to Pospisil as well. 3 places total lost. Serfontaine manages still to claim 12, but how many will lose after the mandatory pit stop? And maybe he has some damages at the rear bodywork of this car. That is not what he wanted to. While Godfrey manages to get past Sergio Hernandez. But Sergio Hernandez, oh, maybe there was a tentative attack by the Belgian. But Sergio Hernandez says, no, thank you very much. And makes the way to retake the lead of the race. It is. But Jack Prentice, the substantial damage on the rear, decides that it is time for his mandatory pit stop, forced mandatory pit stop. Luckily for him, Luke Prentice will maintain high the flag and the colors of the Bentley brothers. Prentice now P20, second of the cars that have already done the mandatory pit stop, only behind Morgan Greater. It is a short stop by Jack Prentice. Real short stop. I was not expecting that, to be completely honest. Let's see if he manages to stay ahead of Greater. Oh, but it's be a stop and go penalty for Jack Prentice. That will jeopardize his entire race. That's a shame, because now in the next 3 laps you have to come back to the pits, stay still for 30 seconds and then restart. You will lose a lot of time, and will lose a lot of places as well. And ahead of them, we see Godfrey with some more problems along the way. Maybe his tire started to fall down unexpectedly, because he almost overtook Sergio Hernandez in an entire lap, but then the Spanish claimed back first place. And now Godfrey has lost also second place to Hegemans, while the Ferrari is really driving well in this part of the race. And look at Irish, who now sees Godfrey at third place, real near. He can feel it, he can smell it, and says, I want the podium will be mine. Let's see if Irish can do something to take him away from Godfrey, who is desperate to try and take some to take a podium place finish. How about while Brown and Tulik come into the pits, we go on board with Irish as they hand down Godfrey for third place in this race at Snetterton. And now some onboard footage with Godfrey as well, as Colpitts enter the pits. We're back and we see Colpitts re-entering the track after his mandatory pit stop behind a group of cars, which I see one of them behind Van der Wall, so it's back into 17th place, must be. Yes, it must be for Colpitts. And pit stop for Wozer as well. Look at this now, Godfrey lapping a car which is just in the middle of the way of the Belgian driver, trying to defend his third place. Got the hand of Irish. Gilman also into the pits. Oh, but Gilman has really... Oh my, that's something I was not expecting to see. Gilman completely misjudged his pit box. That is going to cost him dearly. Walter has restarted. Let's see where he will re-enter compared to Morgan Grace, who comes out to the final corner and is ahead of Grace by a long margin. See with our eyes on the top four, with Irish coming closer and closer to Godfrey.
We are at the halfway mark.
But for now, still no sign of attack from the German leader of the championship. Reminder from the race direction: 30 minutes went past, 30 to go. Half an hour still left to this race. It's Snetterton for round 4. Taco Tuesday, go for Irish, go for to the pit stop for the exact same lap. So we'll see who between the two will be fastest. Pit entry, Godfrey has lost a little bit of time, maybe trying to slot him with the middle up band. Dave Boston goes into the pits as well. Let's see if Pospisil will follow them or he'll go long. He'll go long. So takes third place at the moment. Let's see if we'll manage to hold it on. Now will be a real battle on nerves between Godfrey and Irish, both busy with their pit stops. And Irish has really done well. It's a really fast time in the pit for Irish, while Godfrey has lost a little bit of time with the Bentley in the middle. And so Irish has come ahead of Geoffrey Godfrey, and so virtually in P3 in the race. While Godfrey re-enters 6th ahead of Boozer. Samuele Gerbino also into the pits. I'm curious to see what will Irish do now that he has got free from the traffic of Godfrey. And for now, at least for now, into the podium spot. Hernandez into the pits. Hernandez into the pits. Maybe he's saying, I don't trust Irish, so I'm going to the pits and try to block any possible situation. And now he restarts real fast, and that's when Irish comes out at the final corner. Let's see if Hernandez will manage to stay ahead of Irish. He will be near. He will be near. Maybe Hernandez has the advantage, and he has the advantage. Hernandez stays ahead of Irish. Let's see if Irish will manage to get the momentum going and try to attack on the Montreal corner, but is too far back to try a dive or anything crazy. So Hernandez stay ahead of Irish. He reacted quickly to prevent a possible loss of position in regards of his German rival. Now they've been waiting news from Hageman's post-position Snetterton. The 3 cars ahead were the only ones that didn't stop for his mandatory pit stop, and Hageman still continues. Hageman continues. He was closer to Hernandez and Irish, so we see what happens. I see Sharpie going wide and a Porsche going real off the track. Gedman, it is the Porsche that go real wide. That's really not ideal for Chris Gedman, who has lost places from Gerbino, Sharp, King, and Hafner, and he's a P23. Real not ideal from the Formula Racing League admin. While we're back with Sergio Hernandez and Irish, 4th and 5th at the moment, virtually 1st and 2nd, considering the top 3 actually have to stop, do a mandatory pit stop, so at least 25 seconds. Of course, it will be real tight between the Hernandez and Irish. They're still fighting real hard, and Irish just flashlighting his Spanish rival as he aims to put pressure on him and try to make him one of the mistakes in this twisty Snetterton track. Let's see if Sagittarius can hold on to take victory for the first time in this season, or if Irish will get the better of the Spanish rival. Well, behind them we see someone, they all the real, let's say not really far, but they're not even close, so it's not easy to see now which battles will come ahead in this situation. Maybe there will be one with Ferreira trying to make up for the poor start that he had and trying to come close and maybe attack Van der Sloot for P25. While Mike Ostler and Jack Prentice had stayed in the pits since a couple of laps, so I think that's their day settled. Look at the slot, not an optimal braking line. Maybe Ferreira can try to take advantage to take a P25, which is not a result to brag it on, but it will be something at least to take pride, to say, hey, at least I was there, at least I not give up. Let's see if Ferreira can manage to make a good battle with Van der Sloot at the moment, while Irish and Hernandez are still separated by half a second. But all eyes for now still on the Mercedes. Well, Pospisil comes into the pits and Ferreira tries the dive bomb on Montreal, but the slot doesn't want to defend too hard. He wants to try to place cards on the exit, but Ferreira has the better of him, so it's P25 for Ferreira. A good maneuver, a good overtake by the Portuguese, but Van der Sloot doesn't want to give up. Maybe he will try up the inside of the Agostini corner, and he does the counter-attack to retake, but he almost lost it, and that gives Ferreira a big chance, a big opportunity to take the place and make a good gap between him and Van der Sloot. There was a good battle, really brief. Pospisil has completed his mandatory pit. He will rejoin behind Prentice, behind Brown, I think. It's behind the Ferrari of Gordon Brown, so it's P11 Pospisil at the moment. We'll see how he will play in the last 20 minutes of this race. Well, look at Irish putting real pressure. Oh, Sergio Hernandez, 0.3 of a second. The latest reference on the clock. Sergio Hernandez for now resisting to all the pressure put from the German. Even if that line is not optimal for braking, because if you take the inside line for braking at the Nelson corner, you will sacrifice the exit speed of the approach to the Bumble, even if he comes real close to home. Irish can smell the opportunity to try to win yet another race in this Taco Tuesday Season 21 Tier 1. And that really tells what kind of driver is Irish, honestly, because that's kind of an animal that you want him to race for your team, for your manufacturer, for your esports event, because that's real world class from him. Well, Sergio Hernandez certainly proved on his level, at least on qualifying, not on the race for now, because he managed to lose 2 times for pole position. This time he hopes that the third time will be a charm. For now, Sergio Hernandez stay calm, composed and stays ahead of Irish. While Hegemans decide that the time has come for a mandatory pit stop. And so we see when he will re-enter. Let's see, Snetterton will join him shortly in the other Ferrari. And Snetterton comes in and he stays out. So Snetterton takes for now the provisional lead of the race, but he's the only one yet to do a mandatory pit stop. While since United Irish, they never been so close. Look up because they're only one tap. So Irish will almost try certainly a dive bomb into turn one. They make contact. Irish real aggressive on turn number one. The reaches. He did not wait for the move real. He tries again. Irish really tried to say, come on, move, you Spanish conquistador. He tried to coming to the mirror, the Agostini, but Hernandez with a good defense, very solid defense, manages to stay ahead of the leader of the championship. Hernandez, who started again for the third time this season on pole position, while Volkmann drive through for track limits. That's a real shame for Volkmann. Race compromise for the German Ferrari driver. Tudor Gierman, the ones behind him, will certainly say thank you very much. But let's settle down then with Hernandez. Let's go on board from his rear wing perspective. As we can see, Hernandez, we are doing good for now, for keeping Irish danger at the bay. Snetterton comes into the pit, so Hernandez retakes the lead of the Snetterton round ahead of Irish who's second. Godfrey is now third, but he has to defend from rampant Hegemans, who has catched him and will try everything to be back on the podium spot at the expenses of the Belgian driver. Wozer is fifth, Boston is sixth, Grace is seventh, We'll be waiting to see where Snetterton will rejoin the track, in which position. Mandatory pit stop complete for Snetterton, who starts now. Let's wait until they pulled off the limiter of speed. Here it is. It's Snetterton is behind Gearman, ahead of Lino, so it's P15 for Snetterton. And that makes all the drivers comply to the mandatory pit stop rule. Very good job to all of them. And now all eyes up in the last 13 minutes of the race, with Hernandez, Ayers and Godfrey Hedgemans, two fights, two duels for first place and third place. So it's a victory and the podium spot up to the table of Snetterton. We'll see who will prevail and who will be the loser in these two epic duels in the final stages of the round 4 of the Taco Tuesday Season 21 Tier 1 Championship. For now, as I have told a couple of minutes before, Hernandez seemingly executing a perfect defense on Irish, keeping him at bay with no chance of trying any attack on the Spanish driver, who's trying his most solid race of the season, and will do everything to try to brand himself in the history books of the season 21, the palmarès of winners of this season for Tier 1 of Taco Tuesday, while for the podium Geoffrey Godfrey will try to make the same defensive efforts to try to stay ahead of Hedgemans. All the other places seemingly all crystallized, apart maybe from Prentice and Brown, Luke and Gordon fighting for 8th place, with a Ferrari driver putting pressure on the Bentley ahead. For the others, it will be all down to preparation, to speed, to mental resistance. It will be well fun to see who will prevail in these two duels, while Brown says, I want to try for 8th place, Luke. Give me the position or I'll take it myself. Luke almost losing it. Gordon almost make a move into the bomb hole, but has taken off the accelerator pedal. Says, no, I'm not going to risk the biscuit here. And so Gordon Brown stays behind Prentice. Home race even for him, so he's determined to make the best results possible, alongside Luke Prentice, who's now has to race alone, considering Jack Prentice has retired together with Mike Ostell in the first part of the 1 hour race. Brown coming closer and closer and closer to Prentice. Sergio Hernandez, meanwhile, real trying to escape the Irish Morse, while Godfrey Hedgemans still closer than ever. Let's see if the Ferrari driver has some ace up to his sleeve to try to make a move for 3rd place. And the same can be applied maybe also to Brown with Luke Prentice. It will not be an easy task considering the nature of this track, but we'll see where these duels will take us. We're talking about duels. I'll say we go a little bit on board now with Gordon Brown on the hunt for Luke Prentice. as you did so from the finger button of Brown. He clicked some scroll options, so he made some modification to his settings, to his mapping on the Ferrari. Maybe he's going all in to try to take the position on Luke Prentice. Let's see if Gordon will try everything to take 8th position, while we'll go back now from HMS Godfrey, battle for 3rd place. Second that is now, it's really gone long on 2 seconds and 3 ahead of Irish. Our car has stopped and it's one of Jack King, so maybe Jack King is out of the two together with Prentice Austin, and also I think Van der Sloot, if he doesn't manage to restart. Hegemans and Godfrey fighting for 3rd place. Separated by less than a half of a second. Now only 264,000 of the second. Let's see it. Now Hegemans is really going strong, but he doesn't take a dive into the Montreal. Tries to the switcheroo at the exit, but Godfrey good on covering the path, and now he stays 3rd. Hegemans will try again. Let's see which one or two will fall first. It is a fight for 3rd place, while Luke Brown, as we can see, still behind Luke Prentice, still unable to make an interesting movement. Try again. Oh, the little touch, and Prentice has spun. Brown has gone off as well. Possibly saying thank you very much. I'll take 2 in price of wind, and Brown will start ahead of Prentice. I don't know. Brown should give the place to Prentice, and he's waiting. He's waiting for Luke Prentice. Fair play to him, even though they both lost to Pospisil, who say thank you very much. I'm going to take 8th for you. And so it is all played in favor of the second driver. While we'll see now Hegemans and Godfrey, with Godfrey managing to really take in a wider approach, a wide line on this McLaren, almost risking to go into the grass. But for now he's working for the Belgian, who's aiming to a 2nd podium of the season. While we're only with 5 minutes and 20 seconds left to go for this race. And look at Hegemans going closer and closer to Montreal, but he doesn't want to go there. He doesn't want to go to the side. He doesn't want to attack the Belgian yet. He's really trying to put pressure, and he's really trying to aiming maybe for attack on the final lap, on the final laps of the race here at Snetterton circuit. It'll be interesting to see how the situation will develop between Hegemans and Godfrey for 3rd place, which is now alongside Prentice and Brown, who restarted a fight. And look at Brown on the outside of Montreal on Luke Prentice, but Luke says no, you stay behind me no matter what. And so Luke stays in 9th place, with Gordon almost losing patience. Reminder, they both went in contact the last lap, with Brown touching him from behind on the exit of turn 2. Brown then waited for Prentice to pass by to avoid any action from the race control. That episode managed to make a favor, huge favor for Pospisil, who went up 2 places in a matter of seconds. And now let's go get back to Godfrey versus Hegemans. Maybe Godfrey trying to make a run to the distance to the podium place. And judging by the time we have left at the time of the lap time, maybe we have still 3 laps to go. 3 laps to go for the race. That's considering how Sergio Hernandez will hold his 4.5 gap advantage over Irish, and how he will eventually take care of the traffic ahead of the lapped cars that are still fighting for positions. And I say President Brown, but look also Van der Waal and Colpitts and the two, look, they all still close, so there's plenty of action in the central part of the grid. Fight for the last, for the places out just outside the top 10. So it's also worth a watch. There is some interesting situations here. But for now, they all following Colpitts like a train. Look about the wall, almost with 2 wheels onto the grass. To look, tries to make himself very visible on the mirrors. And now look on the inside at the Hamilton corner. He wanna go there, and Van der Waal concedes to Tulloch and takes place. Takes 12 and pushes himself again wide. Serpentine manages to take advantage of the situation to take 14, and Van der Waal goes wide, and Serpentine takes another place and goes 13. And now look at Gilman, who said, I want to go even another place ahead, but he eventually had to concede to Serpentine. That's a really good fight in the central part of the group, while Godfrey Hagemans still the antics, as well as Brown and Prentice and Brown. Prentice really defending Ante Mures. Brown has tried and overtake some issues that I didn't know it could be possible, and it wasn't possible because he had to stay back the huge Bentley, but pit window closed, and Brown makes a mistake, he's onto the grass. He managed to hold steady, and he managed to hold and stay onto the track in 10th. Probably he lost a chance to attack Prentice, but at least he will manage to seize a top 10 finish here at Snetterton, which is always good considering the really high level of the field in the Taco Tuesday this season. While Godfrey has made a slight mistake, I see Hedgemans can make something to turn attack for third position, the last place for the podium, while ahead of them Sergio Hernandez with over 6 seconds of advantage. Rodriguez starting the final lap is now 4 kilometers between him and the first victory. A victory so awaited that is now between reach, in the grasp of his head, while we are back with Hagemans and Godfrey. Hagemans we potentially the last opportunity to try to overtake Godfrey for third place, and ahead them there are Pedro Porsche comparing Goodman and Modestack. They are fighting for P24. That might be penalizing for Godfrey, who could potentially lose a lot of time. Modestack ahead of Gelman with a move inside of the Agostini corner. Let's see how will Gelman hold this situation. It goes to the right and decides, no, I'm not gonna risk it. I lost my place to Modestack, so there's no point to evade to hold up Godfrey like that. And I think Modestack will do the same. Let's see, is there, as now they are the opposite direction from Hagemans. The time is ticking out. And I don't think, honestly, he will be anywhere closer to try an attack for third place. Modestack still ahead. Maybe there's a little bit of chance from Hagemans, but Sergio Hernandez through to the Murray's corner, the final corner, of the Snetterton circuit, and finally, at last, he will convert the pole position to a first victory of the season. Sergio Hernandez crossed the checker flag and wins round 4 at Snetterton. Also raced by Sergio Hernandez. Finally, a victory under his belt. Irish with a big second place, huge for the championship. Godfrey manages to hold on Hegemans for the last place on the podium. Then Walzer in 5th place, top 5 for him, good result. Postel 6th, good race also for the Ferrari driver, as well as Morgan Grace 7th, managing to make the most of the undercut. Then Pospisil in 8th, good racecraft also from him. Then Luke Prentice managing to hold off Gordon Brown from 9th place, while Gordon will eventually take a top 10 appearance. It will be a great result, while Luke Colpitts 11 and Tudor Sefontaine fighting for P12, but it will be the better driver to take 12. So it's Colpitts 11, Tudor 12, Sefontaine 13, while Van der Waal and Gearman finishes 14 and 15. Adam Sharpie disappointing 16 for him. Then Marcolino and Samuel Gerbino in P17, P18 for the Italians, ahead of Hasgo, Hafter, Müller, Ferreira, Volkmann, Mollenstack, Alessandro Nitti, and then the retirement Van der Sloot and Ustel, and Sergio Hernandez had decided to come immediately into the pits to celebrate with his mechanics, the engineers, with all these, with all his teammates and colleagues of the Formula Racing League paddock. Of course, for Irish, the second place is still important for his championship deep, but today all the honors go to Sergio Hernandez, winner of round 4 of the Taco Tuesday Series Tier 1 here at Snetterton. As you can see now from the final results of the race, Sergio Hernandez first, Irish second, Jeffrey Godfrey rounding up the podium. Then Hegemans, Walzer, Postel, Grace, Pospisil, Prentice and Gordon Brown in the top 10. And these are the final results of the race. I really hope you're enjoying our live coverage of the Round 4 Taco Tuesday Series Season 21 Tier 1 here at Snetterton. I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you to all who will recover. And I really hope you will be back with us next Tuesday, where the paddock will make himself to the trial of the Nordschleife Nürburgring, 10 February, always at the same hour, for an hour of action, for an hour of challenge at the Grihal for round number 5, not the season. From Andrea is everything. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to everyone, all the racers, to the watchers, to everyone, to the patrons for supporting us. And from me, it's a goodbye and a good night.